Hello, hello, visionary entrepreneurs, life changers. Welcome back to our Momentum Monday. Today is our episode 212. Let's talk about outlier. Today I just learned something, a new word and a new meaning, and also finally fulfilled my dream. Finish reading a book within 30 minutes. And it's extremely helpful, even most like more helpful than some books I read maybe for weeks I could not finish or take a long time to finish. And now I just found a new way to read books quickly and also by inquiry. This I think is the most interesting reading way, because like in traditional learning or reading way is always like, oh, you were given something, right, and you read and read until you finish, and maybe you quickly have a review and you put it down, put it aside, and then after how long time, maybe 2 days or 3 days, or normally after 1 week, you almost forgot everything that you already read, right? So the most important thing, previously I learned that great wisdom is just whatever you read or you attend to some training, you review and you put some inspiration to implement right away, right? Like Tony Robbins, my mentor, told that never leave a site with inspiration without implementing it, right? So that's one of the greatest, I would say, wisdoms to practice what you just learned, so that the wisdom and inspiration will stay with you and become part of you. So that is quite, very wise suggestion. And today I just learned a new way is not just afterward you practice, right? And just like now I'm practicing it, but also more important, like it's by inquiry. It's by what you what you want to learn. To serve some goal and you want to learn, so you explore and you inquire, and then you find some resource for like a resource, and then you search and you did more, like let's say like you did summarize, and then you find the certain ways and how to learn it. It's just by inquiring, research, and quicker reading and get summarized, and use new tools, right? Use AI, use other tools, use Google, I use AI anyway. I leverage all these like modern tools to help me get a quick digestion. And when whichever part I have a question, and I further research and inquiry and get my answers, and with my reflection and inspiration, and I further summarize and how I can leverage this knowledge to then implement it. So I just found, wow, from the beginning, by inquiry learning and then actively searching for the valuable information and then digest it, and like reflect and make that into your own inspiration, and then following that inspiration to create your ideas and your I will share with you like your new wisdom and your new practice and your strategies, and then can share. So this is like a whole chain from making the learning more meaningful. So I feel like a very today, even though I feel, wow, even though my IQ is over 130, right? I could never really finish a book, reading a book within 30 minutes before. Like some, for example, some books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, very simple book. I even took quite a few months to really read it another time, and because I was reflecting and practicing some, and then I put it by the side and forgot, and then later I picked it up again, right, to quickly review, oh, what is the practical ones. So until you really have that kind of inquiry mindset to like serve practical purpose. For example, today for the Momentum Monday, I was thinking about remember the 10,000 hours rule, right? Most of people heard about that. So I was quite curious to do more research, and then related to this book, Outliers. And then I learned these new words, and then to learn about the book, the authors, what he's really written, like has written inside of his book, what is the major points he's making, and what kind of examples he's giving, right? And from there, I get, wow, what is the major points I want to make to express. And then I even found, okay, he did give me quite some good inspirations, and how I was thinking like from a new perspective, how I could get even more meaning based on his study and his summarize, right? So I feel like this kind of learning is quite meaningful. Starting with something you feel like interested, you're curious, and you want to learn more, and you do the research, and then you do quick learning and reading, and then summarize from there. And based on that, you get into new inspirations, and from there, how you can go to the next level to practice it, right? So this is today is quite a great new learning for me. So I want to share with you. The first question I want to ask you, right? We all want success. Everybody wants success. But today I learned this new word, outlier. Is really like a traditional. I search for like a dictionary and also AI and Google research, everything to learn about this word. Normally it means something or someone like is outstanding, from standing apart from a regular, from a statistic normals, right? It's just like an outlier. When you think about out, it's just like it's not at the normal range. So it could be like for persons, it's like someone who stands apart from other members of a group, and they are not just like they could not be defined by normal. And if we think about the success, that means like people who are extremely successful and even like beat the odds to be successful. It's like just like by normal standards, they may not be able to be successful, right? So, but then they become an outlier and become outstanding, become like different from the norms, right? And so I searched initially. I searched for the like 1,000 hours rule. It's like it's majorly by the psychologist Mr. Anders Ericsson. He initially started like expert performance, and he got this rule for the 10,000 hours. But then it made it popular by Mr. Malcolm Gladwell. Gladwell in his 2008 book, it's called The Outliers. That's where I learned this new word, right? So Gladwell made this rule more popular because in his chapter 2, he specifically introduced about the 10,000 hours rule. So, but the whole picture is like Mr. Gladwell want to argue is like people's success is not just from their success, like from their talent, the personal talent or personal quality. Because most time people say, oh, people with a high IQ, people who are successful because they're super smart. For example, people will say Elon Musk, right? Or maybe like Bill Gates, they are super smart and their IQ are much higher than other people like Einstein, right? Those people very occasionally, those people like their IQ is much higher than normal people, and when they are successful, people will think, oh, okay, because they are super smarter than other people, so they are successful, right? But Mr. Gladwell, in his book Outliers, he focused more on like the different perspectives, how people could be like even by IQ, maybe not like by your born gifts, right? Not necessarily very smart, but how could they still be successful? Because he also did a lot of research and found majority success people, not just because they are super smart. And some of them are even maybe less smart in IQ definition, okay, less smart than many other people, but they still beat the odds, become successful. How? So that's why he did research, and eventually he found 4 components, and nothing actually directly related to IQ, at least you know, as long as you have around 120 like a regular IQ, right? It's like it's more important than the other 4 like factors. So in his summary, he put like for example, the social, your like your culture and your family's resources and legacy, and then also the social context, and then also the opportunity. He said the opportunity is being given, and then I will have some argument on that, right? Anyway, so this is like a critical reading or critical thinking. You do not just read and take whatever the author, even though it's a famous author and famous book, you do not take it granted to just take it as yours, right? You need to think, you need to have a critical thinking, have your own independent thinking. Maybe, oh, you have different perspectives than that, right? So, but majority part, I would say I agree with Mr. Gladwell. I'm glad that he wrote that book, Outliers, and gave people to have different perspective, different thinking from previously, from his previous, right? Majority people think of successful people were like smarter than other people, right? And he's analyzing like people's family and even their cultural background that give them like different advantages. And especially we know that, right? Like for example, rich people, they have more resources and they have more social resources and financial resources, and help their next generations more, give them more opportunities, right? And he also talked about like social opportunities, like the timing also very important. Like for example, when he said Jewish people get into a US into the law industry because during that time the corporate litigation has become popular, and they cut majority of people feel like it's complicated, right? Do not want to get in, but the smart Jewish people get into the industry and the law, and now today they are almost like dominant in the US, right? The legal industry, and that's how they get their fortune as well, and many doctors as well, right? So the social and the social resources and also the timing, very important. And some people are successful because they were given kind of a rare opportunities, right? And but that's another one. I said I will argue because I do not believe opportunities are given. Yeah, sometimes looks like it's given, like, oh, this opportunities is like very rare, and it's impossible for normal people to get it. It's just like, oh, that person is lucky, or another person is like unlucky, or because the lucky person get the very rare opportunities, right? That's why people say lucky. I used to think, okay, some people are successful because they are luckier, because I do not think they are smarter than me. I do not think they have more reasons to become more successful, right? So I feel like, oh, maybe just because they're lucky, they just get that opportunities, right? But later, after more learning, research, reflection, I just found that is not really truth, especially with the abundance mindset, right? With this kind of universal intelligence. I feel like the opportunities is really by creation. It's not just by like a gaming, because if they are not prepared, even though the opportunities visit them, right, they could not catch it. So for example, if you do not do your homework, you do not prepare yourself, even so many opportunities visit you could still not catch it, right? So the opportunities are given. I totally do not believe in that. So overall, Mr. Gladwell, his conclusion is very good. He's like he said, success is not by born, because he's arguing that it's not by your born gifts or your own IQ, like or you have special gifts, right? Of course, those ones have some advantages, but majority other success people, they started like normal people. For example, Tony Robbins, my mentors, some other mentors like Ed Minet and Dean Gruss, I say they all started with a humble beginning. Nobody during that time when they were young knew that they could be successful, right? They are just like normal people. They are even from disadvantaged background, the family background, like parents divorced, and almost like a, how to say, home abusive kind of like a parents, and also like a alcoholic parents, and very like not, how to say, like very limited and education opportunities, and it's just like they were poor, and compared with other kids are also like normal, right? And some of them shared that when they were kids they even had like a reading difficulties, right? Like a Dean Gruss. So sounds like they're just normal. So that's why Mr. Gladwell, in his Outliers book, argued that their success is not just because they have a special gifts or born with higher IQ, intelligence, anything, right? But it's more because even their social, let's say, even their social background is like was in disadvantaged position, but they still beat the odds and become successful because like one of those, the 10,000 hours rule, right? That's a one, he counted as a 1/4 of his overall 4 areas of reasons. He said like a social, and like a family and culture legacy, and then the timing, and then it's that efforts. He called it like deliberate efforts, like 10,000 hours deliberate efforts. It's not just like a regular or routine work, okay, to get you into expertise. So among his 4 areas, I had a further deep reflection. I was thinking like, okay, success is definitely now from his book, right? It's not by born. Success is not just by like you own some born gifts. It's by making. Success is by making. And also, in my research, I just found that success is not just only by making. All this, or even like opportunities is by making as well, okay? So my another question is like, how do you think, like, for example, today, your efforts or any of your efforts and any of your decisions, right, today, how much can that determine tomorrow's success? Many of you, when you are inside of today, for example, now we're in today, right? when you are in your tasks, in your daily activities, you may think it's very difficult for you to figure that out, or whatever, like small decisions you are making, or things like you are doing with so many uncertainty for tomorrow. How could you determine your tomorrow's success, right? But actually, I summarized these four strategies that will really help you. Like even today, you can predict tomorrow's success. Okay, that will make you today every decision and every action, and will make sense to you, that even though tomorrow is still uncertain, right, you will know that what you are doing today, it's like for a big probability, it's leading to your tomorrow's success. Okay, so are you ready? So I want to share with you is the direction with. So no matter, for example, even though we were talking about the 10,000 hours rule, if your direction is not right, no matter how much efforts you put into a things, right, you could waste your time. We had so many examples, people, right? So many like people, and including our own lives, we had like mistakes, we had failures. Sometimes maybe the direction is correct, but our efforts is not enough, right? But you start with the direction. Majority of people I just found through my coaching, 16 years, coaches quite some many people, right? Hundreds of people. I know that their mistake, the biggest one, is their direction is not correct, and many of them have the shifting direction, and they are certain about which way I should go. So they try this way, they walk a little bit, they did not see much results. Okay, they change another route, go another way. It's just exactly like the story we tell, like the miners, right? The people who dig into their, let's say, treasure hunter. They dig into the ground to try to find the treasure. They did not find it, so they start another hole, like digging another hole. So they tried many holes and stop some well, right? And so they put a lot of efforts, right? Hard work. Each hole is a lot of work, but they still and through long time. Even though they put efforts and through the long time, they did not get any good results. Instead of some other people, right? And they found direction. They say, okay, this is like they of course they do research, right? They do research, they do their homework, they prepare that, they know that in this area there's a bigger opportunity, get the treasure, and then they dig deep down, right? And they keep the efforts, and keep like adjust the methods, and put more efforts into that direction until they get the results, right? So this is just a metaphor. Of course, it's not just like 100% in that way, but this metaphor is saying that putting your efforts in one direction, the opportunities for, or the probability by statistics, right, you get a result will be better than you just try different ways, different directions. Every place you put some years of efforts, and then you stop there, you start from scratch to do another one, right? So that's many people are doing like that. So they get a little bit of result, or they did not get a result from one direction, then they change to another one. So think about our years, how many years we are, let's say, for example, we get independent in our 20s, and let's say before retirement by, let's say, by 70 or by 80 even, okay, I put a longer range. You have around 60 years, but even 60 years sounds like long. When you look back, I'm now in my 50s, right? Really feel like, my goodness, where were my first like 30 years go, right? So it's very short. Compared with, sometimes I was joking, like compared with a house, compared with even a dust, our human life is so short. So make it count, right? So for the 60 years of valuable time we can put into meaningful work, you want to focus on some direction that is meaningful, that makes sense to you, that make you excited. Another day I was gathering with my alumni, like high school alumni. One of them said that he admired my energy, my passion. Yeah, now 16 years into my coaching, I'm still passionate about it every day, right? He said he felt that from my video, from my Monday video, right? So I'm glad that I could express this kind of a interest, this kind of a passion and a fuel through my video, right? And my audience get impacted from it. that's because I choose the direction that is meaningful to me, that is purposeful for me. Okay, I'm not just choosing a direction, oh, that's making good money, oh, that's popular in this world, right? So now for example, I know AI is popular, but I will not just jump into AI to do the AI for AI's purpose, oh, because it's popular, right? I'm using AI to serve, for example, now it's a new era, right? I use AI or I use new technologies to serve my purpose. That should be the way. You need to first find your purpose, find the direction, find the direction that will make you excited. And for the rest of your life, that will be ideal, right? And at least, maybe you cannot guarantee that, but at least to make you now super excited and can foresee that for the rest quite some years, right? For example, at least 5 or 10 years, you could still be passionate and excited for it, right? And sometimes you may not exactly find, for example, my 16 years of coaching, I remember I started as a happiness coach, and through the years, and around 8 years ago, right, I shifted into a more focus on abundance coaching, abundance thought leadership, and entrepreneurship coaching. And so from more like from life coaching to business and leadership coaching, right, and more like wisdom and mindset, and also entrepreneurship and leadership coaching. So this is like a transformation to myself as well. But the big direction is still similar. I'm still focusing on helping people, empower people, and helping them find their purpose, their passion, and do what they love to do, and fulfill their life, and create a successful life, right? Create an abundant life. So I got into further depths in my own practice. The direction is similar, but I get into a new level of, I would say, new level of transformation, new level of wisdom, new level of practice. So you want to do that, right? So you want to first find what makes you excited. What is your purpose here for? And you need to do this kind of inner work. For example, sometimes my clients, they jump on the board and they were super excited. They want to launch a business. They focus on, oh, what kind of services, what kind of product I can create, especially for people with like a technical background, right? They just want to create something, products, everything. And they do not want to spend time on their inner work. For example, figure out who they truly are, what is their true gifts, what their purpose is, what is like for long term. Those kind of work, right? Like they try to avoid it. I could understand it, but I would still like hold them accountable and grab them and say, I want to help you to find yourself first. I know the technology is important, like AI, because they say, oh, they're quite in that kind of excited and also like and nervous kind of a status, right? They said, oh, AI is developing so fast, and even like every day some changes, right? If I do not act fast, I will lose this opportunity and that opportunity. They're like quite kind of a nervous kind of a status. You can see that. But I would hold them accountable. I would lift them up to really discover what is long-term more valuable assets for themselves, and turn that inner assets into more both intangible and tangible assets that could benefit them for the rest of their life, right? And something can sustain them to be passionate, to be as excited like now, right? I'm still feeling after 16 years of my coaching. So that's the first strategy I want to encourage you to really spend that time to figure out what makes meaning for you. Okay, what is your mission and purpose here for? Even though it will evolve through time, it's totally fine. But now you need to find this. What's the most important thing? What's your passion? What is your gifts, right? Even though we're not just talking about a genius kind of a gift, but what is make you different from other people? And majority of people will say, especially young people will say, oh, okay, they do not have that confidence, right? They say, oh, I'm just normal. I do not feel like I'm more like smarter or better or whatever than other people, right? Especially now social media make them feel more, feel like they are just normal. They feel like sometimes like not so great about themselves, right? They're always like the biggest criticizer for themselves, right? So that's especially like that will be your hurdle, that will be your obstacle, that will keep come back to bother you if you do not do the front work from the beginning. Okay, so the front work is really most important thing, to find out who you are, find your special strengths, what make you different from others, what make you unique, what make you like with your life is meaningful and purposeful. And that will be your would call like lost star, and also your true strengths that can sustain you. Okay, this is the most important asset for you. far more important than any AI tools or any like other technical, any other outside resources you can get. Okay, so that's the number one strategy. Do the inner work to find out that. And the second one is the efforts part, right? Now the efforts, the 10,000 hours, we called about 10,000 hours, even though that's just like a rough, okay? Do not take it technically, just take it literally, okay? This is like a motivational way to help you think that you need to put deliberate efforts, not just regular efforts, right? So if I calculate that, for example, every day you put 8 hours of a deliberate efforts, not just 8 hours of routine work, okay? You need to put I remember all these 16 years, I put at least around 8 hours, sometimes even 10 hours. I'm still feel excited. Really in-depth kind of work. Since driven by your that kind of inquiry and learning and curiosity, driven by your inner purpose and passion, and you want to do the inquiry learning, right? Like that's called get your efficiency as well if you want to learn the best. And this kind of like a deliberate efforts, you learn, you let's say you learn, you learn, you discover, and after discover that you also create, and you generate the impact, and at the same time you reflect and feel what anything you have already learned, you created, you already like contributed and given there, and it's generating impact, and you need to have the feeling and the reflection through this whole cycle. Okay, so that's 5. Okay, there's like a mini cycle in this kind of a 10,000 hours. So this deliberate efforts. It's not just like any like regular, take it easy, just like lay back and do the routine work without much curiosity and thinking and creation there. Okay, it's totally different. It's deliberate efforts. You have the feel, you have the passion, curiosity to learn, to really like go deeper, and to get that in that 10,000 hours roughly. I calculated, like I said, 8 hours per day, 5 days. And I'm just using regular hours to measure. Okay, for some people, especially for our entrepreneurs, because we have so much passionate, sometimes even a weekend or evening time, we would like to spend time on it. So I did not really calculate how many hours I already put in. So 10,000 hours is just like a rough measurement. Okay, so use this to measure. You at least put, like, for example, a whole day, 8 hours, and they're reasonable hours, right? And 5 days, and a week, and let's say a whole year, around 50 weeks, even though I know 52 give you two weeks for relaxation or vacation, fully put everything digital thing down. Okay, so around 50 weeks, let's say, calculate that. A whole year is around 2,000 hours. So 10,000 hours means 5 years. Okay, 5 years deliberate efforts and work into the area you want to become expert. Okay, you can become expert in one area around 5 years. So today I want to use a new rule. Okay, because 10,000 hours, and majority of people don't know how to measure it. Let me give you a simple way. Okay, so around like 6,000 hours, that's around 3 years. Okay, around 3 years you can become a professional in the area you choose. Around 5 years you can become an expert in the area you choose. Okay, and then if we double that, around 20,000 hours, so forget about hours because it's difficult to calculate. So think about 10 years, 10 years daily deliberate or work days, right? Deliberate work and efforts and learn and practice in the area you choose. You become master. Okay, so now it's easy to like 3, 5, 10 years rule. That's a Spring created a new rule. Okay, 3 years you become professional, 5 years you become expert, and 10 years you become master in that area. Now I'm happy that I'm now 16 years in my area in abundance coaching and the entrepreneurship and the thought leadership coach. I feel like the world is still like unlimited for me to learn every day to learn. So even though some people may call me master, I also think I do have mastery in quite some areas, right? But I still feel like sometimes I'm a student. I'm a student and a master at the same time. Okay, so I know that for the rest of my life. I'm now 50, and I could use another almost like 30 years now. My mom is 78 and around 80, and she's still energetic. She's still like a curious to learn and share with me every day. So I know that I could keep this track if my genes working right, and also my personal passion is fueling me. I could work till 80 years old at least, and so I still have 30 years to go. And by daily learning, I would definitely accumulate my better, even better, right, nuance of mastery in my area. So now let's get into the third strategy, right? Vertical, vertical. And this is not just like initially think about maybe a little bit similar to that 10,000 hours. No, it's not just that. It's just 3, 5, 10 years of expertise, right? But the vertical also means like not just to go deep. It means like specifically you need to choose like make your niche associated with the industry, with the area, right? You want to get into that like this one is more like a go-to, like with your niche, connect with your let's say with market, the market industry, the market functions, that area or specific area or segment. Some people call segment, whatever you call, is that go vertical. You find a specific zone or area or field that you are super interested. Like for me, is entrepreneurship and abundance store leadership. This is my area. I want to go deeper, deeper, and deeper, and I become the authority, and not just the expert and a master, right? And become the authority and really the true leader in this area. And you want us as well. You want to choose that in that direction, and with the 3, 5, 10 years kind of efforts, right? And go vertical. Find a specific, like a specific industry and market segment. You want to go vertical and become the master, the authority master in that specific area. Okay, so even like a regular people with regular just IQ, with regular whatever, all the other resources regular you want to become. If you go vertical, go deeper enough, you become expert and master and like a super master in that area, right? And the more you go deeper there in that area, the more you learn and create impact, and the more resources you accumulate, and you really become the authority in that area. Okay, and when you provide your advice, you provide your insights, you will make better like impact than majority other people who did not go that vertical so deep. Okay, so number 4 strategy is, now first we go vertical, right, and then we go horizontal. And this is also a little bit aligned with Mr. Gladwell's book Outliers, and he talked about the family and your culture legacy. This part I would say some people talk about, maybe they call street smart. So that means like people, you do not just learn knowledge, you just do not like be good enough in your for example in your formal education, in a school education. Now I've observed so many young people, they are so good, including myself. Like many years ago, right, I was so good in the in the school during a alumni gathering. My alumni always praised me. Oh, you were like how to say, top 1 or top 3 in our school. Da, 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 many years ago. That's history. I always tell them, don't talk about that old history. Okay, that's past. I focus on now what I'm learning and what I'm creating, what kind of impact I'm creating. Right? I feel like now it makes more sense. The previous one, I was excellent students, and many now students, like especially our Chinese students, are excellent students. They learn so good at their knowledge, and my son as well, he's getting like a grade over 3.5, right, in the university, and he's satisfied. So I told him, don't be just satisfied for that. You are good at knowledge, but then that's just like one side. You need to also pay attention to what's going on in this world. You need to make your knowledge practical. Otherwise, knowledge is just knowledge. It's staying on the books, staying in your mind. It's useless. You need to practice it, right? You need to find opportunities in this world to make your knowledge valuable, make your dozens of years of knowledge and study valuable to other people, to generate results for other people. So the first, you need to also, for example, pay attention to what kind of a heritage. For example, cultural heritage, family heritage resources you can have, right? And for example, this coming Saturday, I will bring my son to a family reunion. And he said, what's the point to go there? It's too hard, maybe, and I have work to do, and maybe I do not want to go. I said, no, you need to go there. And to do something like a family reunion is for family, and also it's also like a part of your social, right? Family, in other words, big family is also like social network. You need a network and to connect with each other and understand each other, right? It's also for the families, connections, and also for your personal development as well, to understand how in your family, get to know some interesting people, what resources they have and what they are doing, and to learn, right? And to connect and to understand this whole big family, what's a legacy or heritage you could have. This is your resources as well. This is your advantages, right? And also our culture, heritage. For example, we came from me and kids that came from China originally, and we have still have the grandma in China, right? There are some relatives in China. So this summer we're going back to China. Every 2 years we travel back to China, visit our relatives and gather with our friends, and also get kids to learn about our tradition and culture and everything. And China now is so developed, right? I want them to learn both our traditional culture and also what's a new practice. And by the way, traditional, especially interesting, for example, the Chinese traditional medicine and our way of living, those living wisdom, right? The well-being part. And kids can also experience how China is developing and in new technology side, right? In infrastructure part. So this is your social, this is your culture heritage and culture resource, and that's also your good advantages as well, right? And then the third part, your social context. For example, we are now living in New York, and New York has a lot of resources, great resources, right? I always encourage my son. I say, you need to go outside, attend some events, right? And in your school, you need to attend some clubs. You need not just be limited by your knowledge, not just be satisfied by your knowledge you are learning from the professors in the classroom, right? You need to open your horizon to learn many other things. You need to become a street smart. You need to become practical. You need to understand what's going on, especially now AI, right, is impacting our society. And he's learning both economics. And I said, are you both economics and data science? I said, okay, for economics, are you reading all this news? What's going on? What's the current administration is impacting our economics, right? You need relevant to the things. It's your current social context. Do not just stay with your your textbooks. That's things they summarize things happened through the history, right? You need to understand how those economics knowledge impacting the current one, the current economics, the current politics, everything, right? The trading policies, everything like that. And then on the other side, the data science, you need to learn about what's the trend the AI is doing, how people are using the data knowledge to really and also leverage the AI's new trend, right, to serve the world and what's going on there. You need go horizontal. And other things the horizontal is just initially we talked about opportunities, right? And Mr. Gladwell said opportunities were given by quite some people. Of course, he gives quite some examples. People got some very rare opportunities. Sounds like from outsiders, sounds like a given, but from my argument, I would say it's really because opportunities are unlimited. And the majority time, from my experience, I feel like opportunities were created by myself. Sometimes, yeah, opportunities came our way. It's just by random. But if you're not ready, like I mentioned earlier, if you're not prepared, you cannot even catch those opportunities, right? Even just like a food, feed the food by your mouth. If you do not open your mouth, if you do not have that digest, you could not still take that food, right? So it's definitely open your eyes, not just learn things in your textbook or even online, right? Even AI is great. I'm now learning a lot of things from AI, from Google, but I need to practice it. I need to practice with my clients. I need to practice with my kids, with myself in our lives, right? To make all this wisdom make sense, to become practical. So that's my 4 strategies. This 4 strategies actually is more I would say it's more for mindsets. And from the 4 area, right? From your direction, purposeful direction, and from your the 3, 5, 10 years of the 10 years is just like a symbol. Okay, that means like go beyond that. You want to become the master and even like authority in that area you love. Okay, and then go vertical. Go vertical is really find that market segment that specifically your knowledge and your wisdom could be practiced. Okay, could be useful, could generate value, and could also make money in that area. That means like you generate values, right? And no go horizontal. Pay all pay attention to your family, to your generational legacies, or resources, heritage, your social context, the opportunities around you. You need to either catch it or intentionally create opportunities with your efforts, right? So that's the 4 areas to make you like every day. If you have these 4 mindsets and also strategies to guide you, so every day, even a tiny decision and tiny activities you're doing, you will know that if it's aligned with that. When aligned with that mindset, aligned with that direction, aligned with the strategies, and then you will know that eventually they will decide your success in tomorrow. All right. So that's our today's topic about even though I put the 10,000 hours rule, it's actually now I want to update it to be a 3, 5, 10 years of rule, right? That's will be easier for you to know, to guide yourself, to know that like in 3 years you could become a professional in some area, but 5 years become a little bit like expert, for over 10 years to become real master in that area. So I would encourage you to find the area that you are truly passionate about, you feel loved and feel that mission and call for you to engage into it, and in that area put into your consistent efforts to make a difference, right? And to bring true values to people's lives. All right. So we are here to support you to become the expert and the thought leader in your area. And we are here to help you launch and scale your business to make a bigger impact. So feel free to check our post and also make a complimentary consultation with me. And we will look forward to working with you to get you there, to make that make you stand out as the expert and leader in your field to make a bigger transformation and impact. We'll talk with you soon. Okay, bye.